emergence. Invoking threshold effects or emergence without specifying the mechanism for that qualitative transition, how a physical change creates a conceptual shift, is, well, it's an intellectually unsatisfying move. It essentially just substitutes a label, emergence, for the necessary explanation of causation.
So you're arguing that saying it emerged is an explanatory dead end.
It is. It fails to address the actual content of the system. We need to know, how do physical neural processes governed by blind material causation generate abstract oughts? How do neurons firing produce a universal concept like truth or a non-contextual rule like do not steal? These concepts carry a normative force that's detached from immediate survival feedback.
And you believe that standard evolution just cannot account for normativity?
Not without specifying the operating system, no. Saying symbolic thought just emerged when the brain got complex enough is like telling a customer, oh, the software just emerged from the hardware. It misses the entire structure of information processing. If we can't specify how the brain moved from being a calculating machine reacting to stimuli to being a symbolic processor that tracks truth and abstract value, we haven't actually explained the origin of the human mind.
I'm not convinced that the gap is as wide as you paint it, or that the required mechanism must lie outside the natural realm. I'd frame the concept of emergence differently, not as some uncaused event, but as design expressing itself through natural law.
Okay, elaborate on what you mean by design there, because that term carries significant baggage.
I mean intrinsic structure or lawful organization. Take a simpler example, crystallization. When water forms ice, that six-sided symmetry isn't imposed from the outside. It reflects the intrinsic lawful geometric structure of the water molecule itself. The complexity of the system reveals that latent structure.
And you're applying that to semantics.
Precisely. The emergence of symbolic thought, of abstract reference and logic, reflects the intrinsic organizational principles of semantics and logic, revealing themselves through a biological substrate of sufficient capacity, logical necessity, the structure of grammar, maybe even basic moral frameworks. They may be inherent mathematical or conceptual laws that only become manifest, become available for processing, once the biological hardware, the brain, reaches the critical mass needed to recognize and use them. This isn't magic. It's the operation of natural laws at a higher level of organization.
That's a compelling argument, but it still leaves the mechanism of access unexplained. Natural selection.